So while Marcus is going to the lavatory, and keeping with the theme of the day, uh, the first book and what's good is going to be Planet Death, which is from Bad Idea. Now, Planet Death, and that's the little thing we got to go with it here. Where are we? Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. Planet Death. Everything's going just as I planned in the pre-show. There we go. Planet Death. All right, Planet Death. Millions of miles from home, hundreds of ships descend into the stormy atmosphere of a hostile, frozen world. On board, an army of resolute men and women brace for the coming assault. They are an invasion force on an impossible mission: destroy the devastating enemy weapon garrison below and return home. Corporal Scott and his battalion are in the vanguard, but the human forces are no match for their brutal alien adversaries. Scott's battalion is dead within moments. He is a lone survivor. The landing force is annihilated. The battle is lost against overwhelming odds. Scott dares the unthinkable, cross behind enemy lines, survive the lethal landscape, evade capture by ruthless enemies, resist natural predators, face human deserters, and finish the mission single-handedly, locked in his suit of full combat battle armor, sustained only by what he can carry and driven by Earth's wrath. Scott must do it all by himself, what a whole army could not do, and that is to destroy the weapon and then return home. And this is so brutal. And the artwork, as you can see here, is just amazing. Give the propers out to who the artist is. It's first of all, it's written by what's the guy's name here? Oh, there you go. It's written by Derek Kolstad and Robert Vendetti, and Tomas Giorelli is the artist, and Sonny Go is the colorist, or the color artist, if you will. Tom Napolitano is the letterer. Man, that artwork is just so kick-ass, man. And it's so cool that they pretty much tell you the whole story. That there's more in that description than there is in this entire book, because most of this book is just like, all that bloodshed and devastation happening. But what they did not tell you is in issue number 0, which was a full-size ash can, Phil, don't you know? In issue number 0, they talk more about the pre-mission before our lieutenant landed on the planet. And this is where this alien fucking inquisitor is like torturing their captive, and he's telling them that we're coming. All of our reinforcements are going to be here any time now. And the guy says, like, okay, bring them on. We're ready for them. And there's some frames in this issue that they are not that does not exist in issue number 1. So in this number 0, if you miss that one, you're going to miss that out. You're going to miss out on that, I should say. And the number 0 is printed on newsprint, so it's just like the coolest thing in the world. So man, Bad Idea. This is going to be an entirely bad idea. What's good? So I hope you're into Bad Idea, because this is all that's I'm going to be talking about for this whole what's good. And I mean the art, man, is. I mean, did I mention the art was great? it's just so detailed, and I can't imagine. I mean, how long does it take to do this, man? This is just like, if I had to do this, it would just take me forever. But as far as originality, okay, it's pretty. It's kind of your typical like alien invasion kind of a story. But if you just want to have an adventure in a comic book, of a space exploration and stuff like that, and Planet Death is like it's almost it's right up your alley, what you're looking for. And it's I'm not sure how many issues going to be in the series, but I tell you, I'm probably going to be around for it. I'm going to be around for issue number 2 for sure, at least to see what's going to happen with it. And it has a preview of the stuff that's going to be coming up in the coming months. A lot of good stuff from Bad Ideas coming up, and the Planet Death is the first volley in this whole new direction that Bad Idea is taking. I think they may have heard what we were saying about all the gimmicks not being something that we're interested in, and they reacted to it, and they've made it more about the comics, more about the art, more about the story. They've already had great creators, so now it's time to put those two together. And yes, naming this amazing sci-fi art on this thing here. And man, Raisin Bran is soggy. Yeah, we're talking about cereal too. But we also talked about how I love soggy cereal, but that's a whole other story. So I won't even go that. I won't go down that route anymore. Planet Death #1. I mean, there's a Chromium issue I also have, but man, if you're into sci-fi stuff, this is the book for you. Planet Death. Make it happen. I don't want to show too much because it's just the preview there, the little close-ups that I showed. I don't want to give away some of the best art, but they just show how they're being picked off. Like it's like a suicide mission. There's not much as far as background of why they're being sent to destroy this weapon. What the weapon is about doesn't really matter. It's just like a lot of brutalization. You know, they're met with like battalions of enemy force on the ground as soon as they land. And there's a guy who lands and thinks like, oh great, the hardest part is over, and it's such a hard thing. He kills himself. I don't want to give away too much, but pick it up. Planet Death #1.
Bad Idea is back, and they won Lorenzo back easy.
Did, man, they did. It wasn't hard because I always liked it. I always liked stuff that they put out as far as the content, but I was just not there for the shenanigans, man. I'm not here for the
always
shenanigans.
good quality books too.
Always good quality books. I mean, the creators, Matt Kent, David Lapham, and all those folks. Yeah. All right, the next one is going to be called Cul-de-sac. This was a former penultimate book. This another good one, written by Mike Carey, art by Jonathan Wayshak, which has an art style that some people may find, I don't know, strange for superhero comics, but I think it fits perfectly for horror comics. Wayshak is they don't put their credits in the front like normal. Oh, here we go. Jonathan Wayshak on art, Tom Napolitano on lettering, and Rico Renzi is a logo designer. All right, so where's the little thing you do for Planet Death? Cul-de-sac. Here we go. The cul-de-sac. Here, nestled in a tucked away corner of sleepy suburbia, the Kingsley, Harriman, and Ortega families seem like any other close-knit neighbors. So nothing seems amiss when Mrs. Kingsley piles all the neighborhood kids into the family RV for their annual summer campout. But in the dark of the woods, she unleashes a grisly, blood-curdling display, revealing their family's shocking secret. Their parents are vampires, and they're eager to pass on their legacy. Now the children must decide either to join them and revel in their awesome dark powers or live out their lives as mortals. But when they return home, they confront a gruesome scene. Their parents dead on the floor, brutally murdered by an elite squad of vampire hunters, and the hunters are looking to finish the job. Now the kids are on the run, chased by vampire hunters, the police, and even a shadowy cabal of their own fellow vampires, as they search for answers to unlock the secret of what they really are before their fates are sealed forever. And also their lips. I mentioned the art of Jonathan Wayshak. He kind of puts me in the mind of, I'm thinking like, not the Mad Magazine artist, but kind of, because he exaggerates a lot, and the eyes are totally like blown out of proportion and everything. But there's a certain kind of energy that he has, man, and it looks kind of rough. but tight. You know, if that makes any sense. And the kids, God, some of the kids, one of them actually embraces the whole vampire thing right from the start. Well, I'll tell you what they did. I don't show it on here, but the mom brought like a bunch of little rabbits out in the woods with them, and she told them like, okay, this is what we are. We're vampires. I want you to kill these rabbits and activate your vampirism. And most of them were like, you know, Mom, you crazy. But one of them was like, give me that rabbit. You know, he just like chucked the rabbit and just absorbed his energy and became a vampire right away. And then they were like passing around these snacks, these treats, and he tried to eat one of the like little like I don't know little like Hershey snacks or some shit like that, and he couldn't eat anymore. So once you become the vampire, you no longer eat food. All you consume is blood. So there's a lot of detail goes into that. You know, there's a lot of the thing about the vampire lore is that there's so many different versions of the vampire legend that you can play with it and make it pretty much whatever you want. And they really do a good job with that in this story. And along with the artwork by Wayshak, man, I mean, this is something I'm looking forward to. They showed this preview was what I just showed you was in the back of what was it? I think it was Planet Death. The preview for this book was in Planet Death, and they gave like a 12-page preview. So what I just showed you there is like, you know, there's no secrets there. But man, it's so like spooky the way that the Wayshak does his art, and the way the kids are kind of like, you know, what's going on, Mom? We're in the woods, and it's more goodness from Bad Idea. This one more in the horror vein than the sci-fi vein, but absolutely more goodness. Big thick book for I think what $5.99? Yeah, $5.99. $6. $6. It's also on newsprint and in color. As opposed to Planet Death, which was on glossy paper and an elaborate rendering of color and ink and all that jazz. But it's just the different texture they're using in the books, man. It just, I don't know. It sounds like I'm grasping for words, but just like I'm just so amazed at how how they've changed and how they're like attacking this whole medium now in different ways. You know, it's a lot of thought going in these books. And the first issue is, I don't know if are they all going to be this big and have all that content, but I'm here for it. So cul-de-sac #1, also another great idea from Bad Idea.
Some crazy art.
It is. I mean, I was trying I can't put my finger on who he reminds me of, who who Wayshak's art reminds me of, but it's very, very, very different and very like I don't know what kind of it's like he uses. It's probably traditional art. I'm thinking it could be digital. I mean, it's just floored me. Oh, and it has a preview of Survive #1, which is another upcoming issue from a series from Bad Idea. Survive didn't strike me. This is kind of just like it's a cool concept. There's a guy in a submarine that's sinking, and it's his plight of trying to get out of that situation. But it's a different kind of story for that might kind of float your boat. So if that does, then right on, do your thing. But it didn't hit me as much as this book, the previous book, and the one that's coming up next, which is Hero Trade. The Chimera. Project Chimera, the Hero Trade, I should say, #1. This is also from Bad Idea, as I mentioned before. This one is from the aforementioned Matt Kent and David Lapham. Both of them are also artists and writers. Matt Kent is writing this one, and David Lapham, you may know him from many things he's done, but my favorite thing he's done is Murder Me Dead is one good one, and Stray Bullets is probably his most famous works. Hey, it's Bobby D. What up? What up, Bobby? All right. Yes. Thank you, Damien. Wayshak's art does remind me of Sam Keith. That's another great deduction there. All right, so go to the manual thing here, and we'll show the highlights from the hero trade, Project Chimera. As agents at Project Chimera, Hank and Ingrid are tasked with a vital mission: keep Trey and Tina, who are twin teenagers with world-destroying powers, in check. Under Hank and Ingrid's watchful eye, the teens remain locked away in a tightly secure black site, conditioned to believe they cannot survive the outside world, and they are only unleashed when lethal force is required. Hank and Ingrid have always kept to the mission and followed orders. That is, until now. Trey is beginning to unravel. He's becoming a bloodthirsty berserker. Whenever he's let off the leash, that is. And this leaves Hank and Ingrid shaken. And Trina, once a model asset, is starting to question everything, with whispers of a mole embedded deep within the organization, threatening to bring the entire operation down. Hank and Ingrid find themselves tangled between either duty, deception, and a forbidden love affair that could just cost them their lives. See, what's happening is Hank and Ingrid have started an affair, and so now they're mixing their work life with their personal life, and they're kind of afraid that that might not fly with this company, because this company that they work for, Project Chimera, this is more like a government agency. They kind of forbid on-job romances, or they're kind of risking it. Here you can see there's like a thing going on here where there was like an alarm one day, and there was one guy who was caught. Maybe they accused him of being the mole, and they just like summarily executed that dude, man, like in front of everybody. And it's like, hey, get back to work now. Nothing to see here. And everybody's like, oh, okay, let's go back to work. Just like, the microwave exploded or something. It's no big deal. Nobody gives a shit. It's like, I don't know what they've done to condition these people to make them so insensitive. And here's a scene where Hank and Ingrid are just like kicking it after they've been knocking boots, and Hank goes like, well, I feel kind of bad about the way we're treating these kids, and what if we just like did something and let the kids go? And she was like, how dare you? See what they did to George, the other day. They slaughtered his ass right in front of us. How dare you say that shit? And so they go back to work like nothing's happened, and then they unleash these two on this mission. And of course, Trey just goes nuts. So he actually turns into like a giant silverback gorilla and just starts ripping people apart and shit. And then the girl Trina turns into like this poisonous gas and just gets inside everyone's lungs and kills people that way. So she's the smarter of the two, whereas he's just like this fucking brute that just like wants to just destroy everything, because he's a teenage boy and he's gotten horny, and he's just like, he just got all this frustration he has to let out somehow, and he doesn't get to see any other young people other than just Hank and Ingrid, who are his caretakers. So this is a powder keg waiting to happen here. Not to mention they're violating the whole code of the company by like kicking, but they're probably sequestered too, because they all take like these little golf carts to work. They live in the same community and everything. They live near so their whole lives are just revolving around the job, and that's it. So it's just a matter of time before they end up cracking. And what I love about this too is that Hank and Ingrid are just like two ordinary looking people. They're not like comic book gorgeous, like superhero-y kind of a thing. It's like, two average people. And I think that kind of hits a little bit differently. You feel a little bit more of a relationship with them because of that reason. So the hero trade, Project Chimera, all in black and white. 3 very different books, from this. It's so interesting. What's the criteria that they use to make this happen? I mean, like, okay, we think that this will work better, maybe because David Lapham, Stray Bullets, and many of his works were just pen and ink work. They were not like colored, and maybe just Matt Kent wanted to just play to his artist strength. That could be it. And in the back, they show a brief at the end of the video there, a brief section of this thing called The Last 7 Days. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember this thing by Bad Idea called The First 7 Days. That came out a while back. For a while, it was really hot. It was like a one-shot issue, and it was about puppets and shit like that. And um, it literally had like puppets in it. Does that ring a bell? No. Well, well, there was this thing, called The First 7 Days, and it was kind of hot for a while, and it was kind of like all over the place. It was like, okay, well, what are you doing? It's so like the beginning of the world, and it involved a lot of puppets and like Jim Henson looking creatures. This one is very different. It shows like these people crossing the desert, and they're all starving to death. This one woman is carrying her baby and shit, and the baby is, is dying, and it's just a very bleak story, a complete opposite of that first 7 days thing. So I don't know, this is what they call the B-sides. So just another way of saying that, the backstories, they're calling their backstories B-sides, like using a record reference, for us old folks who used to collect records. But man, 3 winners, man. 3 winners from Bad Idea. As far as I'm concerned, I would be willing to check out the rest of these, at least issue number 2s, to see what's going on with them, especially this last one, which is Project Chimera. And the Hero Trade was their first big hit. So I'm thinking, maybe they're going to elaborate on that and go into another direction with that. So that's it. That's your what's good for today. All Bad Idea, all good idea. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.